Hi, this is Joey O'Neill from Sound Systems Incorporated out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I'm going to take a few minutes to explain the audio mixer that we've installed at Amanda Pentecostal Holiness Church out in Pamplico around the Florence area. And what we've done is we have installed a Crest audio mixer that allows us to control the piano vocal, a couple open channels, the electronic piano itself, the pulpit mic, choir, pastor's existing wireless microphone, a few extra channels. We've added a congregation mic. They still use a tape player, so we've involved that in channel 13, and we still have a CD player, and that's currently in channel 14. So I'm going to explain how the setup of the audio mixer works and try to give a general overview. The red control is the master volume for my two main sanctuary speakers. There are two white speakers hanging from the ceiling, and that is the master volume for all channels. Over here, the two white level controls, there are the recording level that go up to a DVD recorder, which you can't see in this picture, which we'll discuss later. We set up the system pretty basically. For example, right now I have a CD playing in, so first of all I'm going to unmute the channel, which means it's live. I don't know if we can see it on the video, but I have a small signal indication where a signal is flashing telling me that something's going on in that channel. So I'm going to use my CD player as my test. I can increase the volume, and we can hear music playing through the audio system. The slider here controls how much sound happens in the actual sanctuary speakers. We also have installed a couple of stage monitors up on stage. They're called little hotspots actually. And I also have a choir monitor obviously in the choir. And then we've installed a subwoofer underneath the offering table, and that is controlled independently. So realistically I have four different controls. Sanctuary, sound going to the stage monitors, sound going to the choir monitors, and sound going to the subwoofer. Now, most important on this style of mixer is the assignments, which are these two buttons right here. Very important. If we notice, our main level control is the red slider that controls the main level. This button assigns this channel to go to that main output. For example, if I'm playing music and I kick that out, it kicks it out of the sound system. So it's vitally important that we keep that button pushed in at all times on all channels except one, and I'll go through that in a few minutes. Because with the red button pushed in, it sends it to the main speakers and it comes out through the audio system. Also very important that we use the white button right below it that says LR, that goes out to our recording. So for example, if I lift that button up, then my CD playing now will not go over here and will not go to my DVD recording. So it's vitally important that I keep those pushed in every channel, and then that way every channel that I use for the sound system goes over to my recording and goes out to my DVD recording. So there again, the red button assignments go across here, that sends it straight to the main output and goes through my main speaker system, and the white buttons go to there. Right now we're not going to use the two gray, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's for something in the future that would happen here, and we're not utilizing that at this time. The only odd thing about this setup is we have installed a congregation mic. Because we're feeding a recording to a DVD player, and because we have a robotic camera, I'd like to have sound of the congregation, prayer responses, crowd responses, congregational singing, so that when people look at the DVD, they're actually feeling as if they're a part of the worship service as they're hearing the congregational responses. So, therefore, we have taken a condenser microphone, suspended it in the ceiling in the main sanctuary, and brought that microphone into channel 12, and I've labeled it as congregation mic, obviously. Now, what I want to do is I want that congregation mic to go to my recording, but I do not want it to go to my main speakers at any time. And the reason is, if I do that, that's what will happen, and we do not want that at any time. So I'm using the mixer to bring the congregation mic in, but then route it over to my recording level. But I would never, and I even put a sticker here that says no with an exclamation point, I would never want to push that button assigning that congregation mic to my main speakers, because there's no reason for it even to come out through my main speakers. All I wanted to do is feed my recording. So this channel, channel 12, is the only channel where I would never assign the red button to channel 12 for the congregation button. All right, same thing with the wireless microphone. I don't know if I've got a wireless. Yep, sure do. I've got a wireless, the older wireless microphone here, which is wireless number 7. Check, test, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, hey, hey. 1, 2. All right, I've muted the microphone. I can unmute it. Check, test, 1, 2. And it comes on and plays at all places. If I'd like to have my wireless microphone go through my stage monitors, I turn this volume up here because I have a label here that says this controls the stage monitors. Then there's one right below it that controls the choir monitors. So right now my wireless microphone is going about at that level to the stage monitors, and at about that level going to the choir monitor, and at this level going through the main congregation. So I can turn this up or down. Check, 1, 2. I can still hear my voice on stage. Check, 1, 2. And I can still hear everything out here in the congregation. Okay. As far as the channel assignments are, the mute switches, the pan control, which just means, I'm going to turn this off. Pan control just means stereo, and we're not hooked up in stereo, so the pan control would always stay at center. Auxiliary 6 sends sound to a subwoofer. I have a subwoofer underneath the altar, so when I play music, I don't know if we can reproduce it on this. That's without it. So therefore I can add bass response or subwoofer to my music playback. So I have it currently set to the cassette tape and currently set to the CD player. Alright, auxiliary 5 is not being used. Auxiliary 1 and 2, they're not being used at this time. That's for future growth. Which leads me into this section of the mixer, which is my low frequency bass response, low mids, high mids, and highs, which is really just tone control. Now I would set this to whatever my taste would be, and if I'd like, I can push the button in to activate the equalizer, and then I can adjust the sound however I would like. For example, with my CD, I can push the EQ in, and it adds crispness and brightness to it, or a low frequency or bass response. Now, most important in the channel is the top button here that says gain control. We have to be very careful when we're making adjustments on the gain control. Gain control is actually the master volume for the channel. So for example, if I come over here and I make just a small adjustment on it, what it's doing is it's making an adjustment on my house speaker, it's making an adjustment on my stage monitor, on my choir monitor, and my subwoofer simultaneously. So I always have to be very careful, and I wouldn't even recommend having to do a lot of gain adjustments. We have a lot of volume and gain in the sound system. So I don't see that as being something we would have to go to. I would like to think that we could pretty much just mute and unmute channels as we needed to. And plus we can start and stop and then mute everything from that point. Okay, that's pretty much, as long as we learn what one channel does, it doesn't matter how many channels we have. We can have 1,000 of them, and they're all going to do exactly the same thing. So just an overview, the 2 white sliders adjust the sound going to my recording. This red slider adjusts the master volume going to my main sanctuary speakers. These channels are open. This is my CD player, tape player, my congregation mic. Very important to remember that I do not push the red button on the congregation mic. I believe we're going to add some wireless microphones that most likely will go into channels 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got wireless microphone for the pastor, 2 choir microphones over the choir. They're controlled by 1 slider. Pulpit microphone. The actual piano itself is tied into the sound system. That channel's open, and then we have a piano vocalist. And that's a general overview of the audio mixer here at the church. Any questions? I'm Joey O'Neill at Sound Systems Incorporated. We're in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 843-602-5883. 843-602-5883. Thank you.